So here we are in InDesign, and just like all Creative Suite applications, it's a relatively complicated program. So we're going to take it pretty slowly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new empty file. File and new. It'll be a new book. So Command N or Control N if you like to use shortcut keys. So by default, it will show you a couple of different options. We're going to choose the print option, and on the right hand side it will present the width and the height using picas. If you prefer using inches, you can, that's okay. And we're going to choose the 8.5 by 11 document. The orientation will be portrait, that means it's 8.5 inches wide, 11 inches high. And it's going to be a 24-page book. That's the minimum page for the book itself. If you would like for it to be larger, you could also make it, just make sure it's in increments of 8 pages. So you could make it 32 pages or 40 pages or 48 pages. Okay, we're going to leave it at 24, 8.5 by 11, and then click Create. And you will be presented with a single page, and the other 23 pages are still there. You just can't see them right now. On the right hand side, you're going to see something called the Properties palette, and this shows you the current settings of either the page or a selected element. So if you have a type tool, press Type, T for type, and you want to type in something, you can just say, press Type, go in here and add a piece of type. The property bar will show you that the type you just typed is using a font called, in my case, Minion Pro, and it's 12 points. You can make it larger. Actually, you have to select the text first. And then make it larger. Change the font. That kind of thing. Okay, and that's page 1. If you want to see the other pages, click the Pages palette now, which I find is really quite handy to have the Pages palette. So I'm going to pull this off to be separate from the Properties palette because I want to see them both. So I'm going to grab this palette, move it off to the side. So by the way, I am following the handout for session 2, Exploring Adobe InDesign. So feel free to look at the handout as we work together. Properties palette, Pages palette, both are available to me. So you will see in the Pages palette a couple of things. You will see the entire book all laid out in thumbnail form from pages 1 right down to 24. 2, 3 are spreads, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Each of these spreads has a letter A on it. The letter A means that the master A, the A master, is being applied to these particular pages. What's the A master? It's this element up on top, A master. And if you wanted to look at what's inside of A master, just double click either the left hand page or the right hand page, and you'll see that there's nothing there. And that's fine. A masters are a way of being able to create a consistent design across multiple pages. So if you have things like a header or a footer on your A master, it will apply on every single page that uses the A master. You are allowed multiple masters in this InDesign file, but for now, let's just leave it to A. A master is actually pretty handy for things like page numbering. If you have a chapter header that you want to use consistently, then you can use it on the master pages too. So let's just start off by using by inserting a page number. So we're going to go to the type tool, and you're going to click and drag a box where you want the type to be. And I want the page numbers to be on the bottom left hand side and the bottom right of all of my pages. So you don't type a number here because this is just a master page. So what you have to do instead is you have to go to the main menu, type, insert special character, markers, current page number. And the letter A will appear. If you don't like that font, look at the make sure the type is selected, go over to the Properties palette, and maybe you want it to be larger. So now that's a 14-point font. use the selection tool to select it. And if you would like to move it to a different spot, you can. If you'd like to make a copy of it, hold down the Option key on the Macintosh or the Alt key on the PC. Click and drag to move it out. Hold down the Shift key if you want to make sure it stays aligned. So you now have two letter A markers for the page numbering system. On the left-hand page, the A is on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand page is also on the left-hand side of the box itself. And if you want to change that alignment from left aligned to right aligned, look at the properties bar. By default, it is left aligned, so if you want to choose center, you could choose that, but we want it to be right aligned. So you click that, and now the page numbering system is on the right-hand page of that. Left, right. Now let's go to a page. Page 1, remember we added that test, is still in there. Page 1 is now there. Page 2, 3. You really can't see it very well because of that palette that's in the way. Yeah, let me move it down here instead. And 8, 9, and so on. So what you don't want to do is we'll jump back out to page 1. What you don't want to do is you don't want to add the page number manually in the other individual pages. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because sometimes you may find that the pages need to be reshuffled or a part needs to be moved to a different part of the book. And if you added the page numbering manually, then the old page number will follow you. You need to change it. Better to add that marker in the page master so that it'll always update itself according to what it is you need. Like if you want to add another page behind 2, 3, that it'll always maintain its page numbering scheme. Okay, so let's go back to page 1 for a second. You don't always want to have let's call this cover. You don't always want to have a page number. Oops, type. Sorry. For example, on the cover, let's make the center. For the cover of the book, you do not want to have a page number. But you can't get rid of it. Why? Because that element is currently inside of the master. So rather than change the master itself, what you could do is you could tell InDesign not to apply the A master onto page 1. To do that, you look for the word none on the pages palette. That none means that it is absolutely no master element is being applied. So you take the none thumbnail and you drag it on top of the page where you want to have no master elements. Page number 1 now disappears. Let's go down to page 6, 7. 6, 7 has a page number, but maybe page 7 is a new chapter. You want this to be a new chapter. And you don't want this new chapter to have a page number. So you're going to take the none, you're going to move it on top of the number 7 here. Not here, but here on the 7. And you notice that page 7 now has no page number, but page 6 does. So that's how you do that. So we just created a new document. We added pages. We added the master elements. I showed you how to navigate it, and I showed you how to add a page number, and finally I showed you how to remove any master elements on a selected page. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.